Hi, welcome back to the practical section of Hive. In this section, we'll see how to provide comments to a table, and again we'll see how to create bucketing on your table. We have seen in our previous video how to do partitioning on your tables. Okay, we'll further partition our data on something called buckets. Let's see how to do that. Right, so let me create a table test 6. Okay, and I'm just giving id int name string. So this would be partitioned by, as we have seen in our previous video, partitioned by location string. Yeah, and we are okay, partitioned by location string and clustered by something called id, and something called sorted also I'm giving, so that it buckets the data based on the sorted column, which is again id I'm giving into some 10 buckets. Okay, so again my row format is delimited, fields are terminated by something called pipe. Okay, I've given something wrong here, string, the name string I had given wrong. So partition by location string is correct, and clustered by id, sorted by id into buckets, row format delimited, fields terminated by pipe. So that's correct. So describe extended test 6. When I give this, you could see that I've got my partition columns, which is my location and which is of type string, and I'll get my bucketing columns as well. So bucketed on id, right? So this is the this is something which we have not got in our previous thing. Like, we have got partitioning columns now, we have got the bucketing columns, and we have also got the sorted columns, which is id. So what is this basically for? When I use partitioning, your data will be partitioned across multiple data nodes, and when you query your data, you'll get a lot of, your performance will be improved to a great extent, right? When I further bucket my data, so the partitioned columns will be sub-partitioned based on the id, whatever data type or column name you provide over there, by sorting them. So it sorts basically your data and further partitions your data into 10 buckets. So when your table has something like 10 million records, okay, and each partition is split into one partition. Okay, the complete data is split into one partition across 10 data nodes, right? And in each data node, the one partition will be further split into 10 buckets by partitioning on the column which you had provided. So the reason or the advantage behind that is your performance will be again increased than what you had done through partitioning, right? So let's prepare, let's put our files into HDFS. I'm putting this file as well. So when I've loaded 3 partitions of my files, let's load this. Let's load these files. Load data in path. My path is user training into table test 6 partition location equal to North America, right? So I've loaded my data, I've loaded my one partition. So for bucketing, you don't need to explicitly mention anything while you are loading. I'm just loading South American uh, split and then Asia Pacific. Oops. So I'll just load it once again. It will throw me an error because I'm using the same file again. I'll just give input 4. I'll load it as Asia Pacific. So I've loaded all the 3 files into test 6. Yeah, my data looks like this. Like we have seen in our earlier example, your data will be, let's see the path where this gets stored. So your location would be user Hive test 6 path. So when I go to this path, we know that we'll have 3 splits of my file, 3 directories. Okay, so this is how partitioning will work on. But when you are bucketing your data, right, when you are bucketing your data, this file, now that we have loaded very small data set of your file, if you are loading some huge data set of 1 million records or 1 billion records, your data will be further split into buckets, into number of buckets you are mentioning while you are loading the data. So if you are mentioning to bucket on ID, by sorting ID into 10 buckets, so after sorting your data will be bucketed into 10 buckets or in this particular directory. So when you have something like 1 million records stored in this file, and when it's split into 10 billion, when it is split into 10 buckets, and when you are querying in this way, like I select start from test 6 where location equal to AP and your data, your ID between 1 to 1 million or 1 to something like 1/10 of a million, then your query will be concentrating only on the first bucket, because you are only doing query on your sub part of the data. So in that case, your query will be much more optimized when you are providing bucketing. So we have seen how to create buckets, right? So that's how you can create a bucket. And see, let me show you something like how to create a comment, how to give a comment while creating the tables. That's what we are left with. Create table test 7, yeah, ID int, something like comment, this is a test table. So this is how I provide a comment to my table. So this is because to notify other users that what data this particular table is containing, right? So when I do something called describe extended test 7, there you go, you'll have your comment of the data. So this is a test table. So when a user is looking at this table, he'll definitely understand what sort of data this particular table will contain. Okay, so that's the case where your comment will be useful. Yeah, that's it for this video. Hope this is useful to you. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Bye bye.